I'm Deborah, the store manager. We are so excited to be hosting It's a Pro series featuring Phillip Rosado. Yes. We are so excited to have him here. It's amazing that he's going to be able to share his experiences and tips and everything with everybody. And we just love that as our industry, to grow together as a community like this is just absolutely amazing. And it's what, as ambassadors of Salon Centric, this is what we really try to push, is really about getting together and just growing as a community. So with no further ado, everybody's been very patient. Phillip Rosado.
Welcome everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's Monday, it's a beautiful day outside. It was like 40 or 50 this morning, now it's like 90. It's beautiful, and traffic and everything, but thank you guys for just taking part of this Salon series by Salon Centric. It's pretty amazing. I'm super humbled and honored to be here. Super excited because it's my hometown. So welcome to wig making today. You're going to learn about wigs. Just kidding. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, when I got approached to do this talk, I was super interested in kind of developing something unique for you guys, not doing something normal like I always do. And once I started diving into that, I noticed that usually when I do classes for L'Oreal, it's never necessarily about what the facilitator is teaching, it's all about the brand that I'm presenting, right? So today I was kind of coming in, I was like, all right, what do I do? Because I really have to kind of talk a lot about myself and kind of open that. And I was like, all right, cool. So I started just sitting down and I created this little presentation because I wanted to kind of take you guys with me as far as the journey, what it took me to kind of get to where we're at, not only as a salon, a brand, outside of what I'm doing now internally, but just share it with you guys. We're all hairdressers. We always fight the good fight, which is the war on beauty, I call it. And we're just in different armies, so different armies meaning different salons. And I really appreciate everybody's time and willingness to kind of be here with me today. I'm just going to kind of open up like a book and hopefully really give you guys some impact that you can take away back to your own salons or into your own career. So thank you for that. And let me rewind a little bit. So my name is Phillip Rosado. I started doing hair in 1992. I'm a local kid from here, graduated from University High School, went to Colonial Line University. I thought that was kind of interesting, two different worlds there. But I always knew back then I wanted to kind of do more than just hair. I got into it at a very young age. I was 19 years old, and I had big dreams, big aspirations. I didn't really know what that looked like, but I always knew that Orlando was a growing market for one, but also we could be a leader in hair as well. It wasn't necessarily a location where we live, but it's just your mindset. So I'm going to talk a little bit about mindset today. I'm going to talk about how do we reset that and some challenges that we have with clients as well, and energy, all that flows, so. I met a few people earlier, but just to kind of get a feel for the room, if we can today it's a very intimate group, and so the way the class is not a class, but the way today's going to roll out is I'm going to speak for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then after that, we can take pictures, just network, we can kind of have one-on-one conversations, eat some great food that they have here, because I didn't realize they were going to really bust it out, because usually when we do meetings and stuff at the salon, it's like bagels or like pizza, right? But they hooked it up out there, so I want to thank the Salon Centric team here, Deborah and Dan and the DM and Jessica and Megan for putting this together. It takes a village, so thank all you guys. So let's get into the presentation. But before we get into the presentation, I just want to kind of ask, what do you guys want to get out of today's talk? If we can get maybe 3 shares. not everybody at once, just kind of, just a couple, yes.
Great ways to market your salon.
Great ways to market your salon, fantastic.
I think we're doing everything right, but
Okay.
if you got more to give me, great.
You got it, that's a good one. Anybody else? Yes.
Team building.
Team building,
So how to
okay.
create, a team for your salon, how to attract the right people and kind of just, maintain a good team.
Good one, team building. Anybody else? Yes.
I want to know about where the industry is going with all the salons and salon suites that are opening up, and people
Okay.
seem to be flocking to those, and
Awesome.
they're
All right.
small and good.
Right. You have you own a salon?
Yes.
Okay. And are you local?
Yes.
Okay.
We're in Oviedo.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Does anybody else have that similar scenario where people are kind of going
It's
to
just
suites?
popping up everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere.
So they're kind of getting into your territory, right?
Yes.
How to kind of counteract that. Oh, that's a great point. That's awesome. Yeah, we're definitely all talking about that.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah.
On social media.
Social media, definitely. That's one of my favorite things to talk about nowadays. I've discovered so many different things on that I want to share, and it blows my mind how little I know, and how when I go into salons, how little they know about it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh wow, I know a lot more than what I think I know. So it's interesting. I'll share everything that I know about it and why I do it. All right. Anybody else? Yes.
How did you become a Salon Centric ambassador?
Oh, good one. How did I become a Salon Centric ambassador? Well, all right. So I'm a L'Oreal Pro artist. So I've been with L'Oreal for about 8 years, and they led me 2 years ago to have a live with American Salon and Salon Centric at the Premier Beauty Show, and it was at that point. Actually, I met Frank and Brian, a couple people from Salon Centric. And we did the live thing, and they really enjoyed my stuff, and I guess it popped on social media, and it went really well. So that bridge or that connection from networking, that moment, I carried that because I took his card and I shot an email. And I saw a friend of mine also started jumping on the Salon Centric Ambassador program. So then I reached out to him, and then I also reached out to Frank, the guy that I met at the premiere show. I said, hey, what's this Salon Centric Ambassador program? What's going on? How does that look? I'm interested. What do I need to do to get involved? I want to help in any way I can. Thank you so much. I'll give whatever I need to do to get involved or whatever, right? It was a very casual thing. And then shortly after that, I think months went on where I didn't really get a response or anything. And then boom, one day I got a phone call and said, hey, you want to be a part of the team? We're really looking forward to we want to invite you to be a part of the Salon Centric Ambassador program. And then I was like, wow, this is beautiful. This is how that's the way that synergy is supposed to work, as far as networking, being in the right time, right place, having the right education to kind of back your brand, and then kind of continuing moving it forward. Because I think one thing that I've discovered, in anything, nothing will be given to you. It's all earned, and you have to not only earn the right, you have to be able to back it up. So those two worlds, I think in the new generation, we have to kind of share with them what we have to do to really elevate them and push them more, because I think they have bigger visions than even we had back in the days. But for me, that was the perfect moment of just how networking and just being in the right time, right place, and then having the ability to execute happen, and that's how I became a Salon Centric ambassador. It was just seeing what was out there, seeing what was happening with not only what we're doing here, but seeing the scale of what's happening in America. Just because I'm with L'Oreal doesn't mean that I don't like Vidal Sassoon or Tony Guy or IGK or Redken, any of the lines. I look at everything, and if I see something moving, I try to kind of get myself involved and see what's happening, and always networking at all the events that I go to, just kind of supporting other artists, and that's kind of how it happened. And then when it really happened, I was like, wow, they must have really enjoyed what I did. I did have some value, so that was the, and to be honest, like the first round, I was like, okay, okay, now what? I'm an ambassador, so, but a lot of it is just what we do on a day-to-day basis. It's not anything different, and that's what they were wanting, that just being authentic. And that's kind of why I really enjoyed being part of the team and the program, because it's kind of who we are individually, but for me it's a collective thing, like a universal thing. It doesn't matter like where you're at, we're still in the war of beauty. So it's cool to see the guys from LA do it. I think Daniel M did one yesterday or today?
He did one last week.
Last week, and then there's one going on.
And there's another event just like this going on in California.
Yeah.
So the end goal is to get a lot of these events nationally at all of our stores, because we think that networking is such an incredible opportunity to get some of the best local stylists all in one room together, share your story, and really inspire one another.
Yeah, it's so cool, because I mean, back in the days when I was doing this, we didn't really have a lot of this, and I think it was, everybody was kind of like setting up their tents, and like Native Americans, this is my teepee, this is I own this, and everybody was very separate. And today with social media, it kind of like peeled that all out, and everything is exposed. So good, bad, and different, whatever, it's all exposed. So it's kind of different for me thinking about like going into the 90s and how I started and how we have to morph into what's happening now. It's so crazy, but it kind of like sparked a new career for me. You know what I'm saying? Because for a while there, you kind of get not bored, but you
have to evolve.
You have to evolve, exactly. And that's in here. So you have to kind of really push yourself. So I find myself trying different things and kind of engaging with other people, and I think that's the best. The community is huge, especially if we can kind of get into a store like this, and they have these stores around the country, and we can use this as artists, we can use this as for meetings, for salon soirees, whatever you guys want to do. They actually have this available for you guys, which is pretty amazing. So I'm definitely going to take advantage of it. I'm gonna, when we do training, I'm going to probably take my team and bring them here, because it's just a little bit different. They just installed this awesome TV. So we'll definitely impact it, right? Well, thank you guys for sharing that. I'm just going to get into the presentation now. Let's see. All right, so one of the things personally that we do at L'Oreal and myself is just quotes. Quote, 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 quote. And the reason why quotes are so important, not only for me, I don't know how they're going to impact anybody. I never know who gets impacted in what way, anytime I present anywhere. So these quotes sometimes really strike a nerve for some people, and some people can get really emotional, and I love that type of stuff. I'm all about having that emotion and targeting transformation through that emotion. So I think that's huge. So this is like my personal favorite quote. This was from Steve Martin, wrote this. I didn't know he was so deep, right? But Steve Martin, he wrote this, "Be so good they can't ignore you." And I love it so much that I thought about getting it tattooed on me, but I haven't gone that far yet. But I really do enjoy it because it rings like deep into my heart, because it's like, be so good they can't ignore you. And that kind of goes into a lot of different arenas. But for me, it was taking it at a time where I needed to elevate my game, and I understood that that was the path that I needed to do. It was on me to make it happen. So that's one. I didn't come this far to come this far. I think that's another good quote. I actually don't know who said that one, but I didn't make that one up, but that one's really, really good. This one I did right. I thought choose happiness over money. I thought that was really, really important, because for me, especially when I first started doing hair, it was never really about the money. I just knew I really enjoyed it, and I just had fun, and I didn't really want to work at Wendy's anymore or Walgreens. So those two worlds, I was like, you know what, I'm having so much fun doing hair, I think this could be a really cool thing. And I always chose the happiness over the money. The money came later, thank God, but it did come, but it will come, right? So if you're always focused on the happiness part, everything else should fall into place. So that's something that I wrote down. So your comfort zone will kill you. I think that's one of our enemies in just human beings. We can get very comfortable with anything we do, and sometimes that makes us very stagnant. So I am encouraging everybody to kind of just strip back that ego and kind of just let it all go. And I think at that point, that's when you discover a lot of cool stuff that you thought you could never do, and you created it, and it's been very enjoyable to see that impact. Fun fact, early in my career, when I was starting doing hair, I put this one in there because this one popped up on my feed, where they posted it. I don't know, something happened, so I was like, no, I'm going to share that because I think this was a very pivotal point in my career. This was obviously Backstreet Boys. This was their first album cover. I did their hair for the first like 4 or 5 album covers, and I did about their first 6 videos. And that really impacted my career, and I had a choice to go with them on the road or to stay here. And I chose to stay here because I knew that going with them was going to give me short-term success, but it was not going to give me long-term success. So the fruits and everything that I did back then, I planted, are now finally coming about. And thank God I chose that, because these guys, who knew if they were going to pop or not? This was their first single. They were big in Kazakhstan or somewhere, but nobody knew who they were here. And I was like, well, do I go with them for like 8 weeks and then kill like all my clientele that I'm trying to build, or do I just, you know, that was the struggle that I had. And this was in, I want to say this dropped 95, 96. So early into my career where I wasn't even that good. I was stronger with men than women, but I had a unique ability to kind of go on sets and help these guys and kind of really transform the way they looked prior to this. So that was a huge one for me. This was one of our first photo shoots that we ever did actually as a brand for when we created Edu Salon. This was actually shot in our living room, and we just put a black satin drape behind her and we shot it. This was shot by a friend of mine, Daniel. He's amazing, and my wife actually did this hair. And I put this one in there because it was the beginning of like everything as a brand. And I think what's important for me to share with you guys today is kind of be in line with your brand and what you want to share to the world. And it doesn't matter whatever it is, it's okay. It's okay if you like to put lollipops in people's hair and that's your thing, that's fine. Just make it happen and put it out there. So for us, we had a very specific look and we just went after it. And this was the very first photo shoot we did as a team. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is for everybody. This is my wife right here, Alicia Rosado. She's my support system. Without her, I couldn't do what I do on the weekends or in life. So thank you so much. You're amazing. Back there is my daughter, Jaden. She's taking content for me. She's shooting everything I'm doing. She just graduated from Aveda Hair School, and she's my official apprentice now. And then here we have Beth. She's my apprentice as well. She's kind of almost done with her program, and then she's going to be full-on stylist at Udus. So that's my team. And then in the back also we have Zach. Hi, Zach. He's the videographer. So that's going to be really important. So when we start talking about social media, I am going to touch on why they're doing what they're doing. Okay. So this was really important to show you guys, for me, because this is our first brand, like official shot that we ever shot at the salon. This was Alicia. Remember this one issue? So this was probably the second or third photo shoot that we ever did. And for me, I love, if you guys follow me, I just love photography in general. So I've been getting better equipment and just building that slowly. A lot of people, definitely, you can just use your iPhone, which is dope too, because the iPhone takes amazing. The after 7 Plus and up, they just take amazing quality pictures, and they're always in your pocket. So you don't need to get anything super fancy unless you want to get into it. If that's your hobby, for me, that's my hobby that can turn into something different. And for me, actually has. So I'm always trying to kind of push myself, not to just kind of pigeonhole myself as just a hairdresser, because we are not just hairdressers, we're more than hairdressers, and if you believe it, you can make it happen. So I invested in some major equipment over the years, and I've just gotten stronger and stronger. So this was one of the photo shoots we shot. This was part of that. This was basically our kind of our theme. Obviously black, very simple haircuts. These are just long layers. Traditional, short. This is a short pixie undercut. But this was done 2013, I think. 2004. Like, it was done a while ago. For me, I think what was important when I first started shooting any of this stuff was always make it like fashion, but really where it can last a long time, where you see it, you know it might be a little bit older, but it's still relevant. I think that was super important.
Kind of timeless.
Yes, kind of timeless, yeah. So I like, and I do that with my fashion. Like I seldomly wear like cheetah print shirts, and like, yeah, I always do solids or gray, because then it can last me a little bit or whatever. But for me, I thought this was really important to shoot her in all those tones, and I thought that was relevant, that we can still use that to this day. Here's another girl that I shot. This was Albany. I started doing her hair since she was a little baby. She's like tiny, and now she's a fashion model that she's got picked up to go to New York Fashion Week last year. And then on top of that, she's a really good volleyball player, and she's just a great human being. Her entire family, they're just amazing. So to see her grow into a beautiful woman, and then be able to kind of shoot her and get that on her comp card that she went around New York City, that kind of solidified me. Oh my God, I might have something here with this photography thing that's separate from my hair thing. So this was that image. I think that was really important. This was an image that the team created for L'Oreal's Color Style Trophy competition they had last year. And this was a strong shot. Obviously, it's a pixie short, it's a little bit aggressive. We had some vivid color in there. It was fun. We got nominated. We made it to the finals with this one, so this was awesome. I still think we should have won it. I'll talk like everywhere I go when I show this, I'm like, we should have won it. You know, I know we should have. It was so good, and the one who won was just like a normal haircut, which is fine. But I knew that this technically was hard to execute, and there was a lot going on here. So anyway, but we were the finalists, so I wasn't a sore loser. But I don't forget, you know what I'm saying? So, but this was a fun shot. This was another dude that he's a good friend of my daughter, that he came like a model too. This guy, he looks like, right? This was shot with my iPhone. So this is just in salon wall, very clean, like background. Obviously you can see that there is ring lights on him. Very clean classic haircut. So that's kind of what I wanted to shoot, and we share them. All right, so a little bit about Edu. So Edu Salon is right down on Mills 50 area. So we opened it in 2012. And when we opened it, the idea was to always have an academy. Always have a academy in the salon where we can kind of be like this, but actually teach different haircuts, teach balayage techniques, vivid color. So that's kind of now finally evolving, because we've been building it. So now we actually finally got it to this point where we actually can host classes. And if you're part of, obviously, any L'Oreal brand or PPD brands, which is like Redken, Purology, Mizani, L'Oreal, Shumora, Kerastase, any of that in your salon, they actually picked up a few classes where you can kind of pay with points on your level program to go into any of the classes. So that was something that was huge for us, and we're still kind of on the tail end of that, so we're gonna lock that in, hopefully by the end of this year. So hopefully, oh yeah, and then my wife, we do have some flyers that we'll give you guys here when we're done, and just make sure we just hand that to you. All the information is on there, and where you can go and get tickets and stuff like that. I really wanted it to make it more of a national education, but in a local atmosphere. Then that's what we created, and it's for everybody. Like I really I'm a salon owner. I don't want to I never ever try to steal anybody's stylist. So that's for one. I don't believe in that. I think that's one of probably the worst things in our industry is that type of stuff. But we do not do that. We're just 100% in for the education. And it's amazing to see the different transformations. So I'm going to share a little bit about the Academy. So this is our foundations of cutting, actually, that we shot this, a couple of girls, and it's really fun to see the girls go from not necessarily having the confidence or any idea of what to, like, how, going from A to Z with a haircut, but to see the confidence build in them is pretty amazing. It's one of my favorite things as an educator with everybody, but when they're your personal girls and they're around you, you see them all the time, they grow. It's pretty amazing feeling. It's like the best. So this is kind of the setup that we do. This was the link to when we did the live with American Salon and Salon Centric at the premiere show. So this was caught there, and this was the link when I met all the team from Salon Centric and carried that conversation months later. And it's not anything like I was bothering or anything. It was just like maybe one email every 6 weeks or something like that. It wasn't anything crazy, you know. And then the hairdresser reset. This is the latest class that I'm super passionate about, because I think this right here nobody talks about. Nobody really talks about energy and the positive, negative energy that you get from clients. You know, do you ever feel as if your clients bring in energy, and how does it impact you as a stylist? Like, I always can see how they come in with this garbage truck full of just negativeness, and they bring it to you, and then what happens to you? You know, what they leave and they feel all happy and beautiful and sexy, but then now you're like moping around, and you're like, man, I'm tired. This crazy person just dropped it on me. Like, yeah, energy vampired me. Yeah, big time. So I think that, how does that affect not only your day, but your coworkers? That's a big one. Like, people don't talk about that. They don't talk about this in hair school. Hair school, it is necessary to do what they do, but they don't, this is the real deal stuff. This is like after we've been doing it for a long time or a little bit of time, right? Are you leaving your personal life at the door to better serve your clients, your business, your salon, and or your companies, right? How do you do that? How can you reset your mind to kind of go into work and just fighting with your boyfriend, husband, lover, whatever, and how do you not dump that onto your team or to your client? So this is part of the class that we created, and this is one that I've been really teaching a lot, and the cool thing that L'Oreal has allowed me to do is create the content for these classes where if you're a salon owner and you don't necessarily need to know how to do a bob again, or you don't need another product knowledge class, or you don't need, you know, balayage or how to, you know, create a new design, this is completely different. And the cool thing is once owners start seeing the impact, it's just mind-blowing. It creates team building. It creates more synergy for the salon. The energy is great. It's pretty amazing. And when I created it, it was mainly like the energy between the clients and the connection and stuff like that. Now the byproduct is the team building, and ultimately retail sales go up behind the chair. Everything starts, you know, oh my God, now that I've fired Michael, I'm able to breathe better. He was such an in the ass, and why did I not fire
I
him
believe in
10 years
firing
ago?
clients too, that
Yeah.
if they make you feel that bad,
You
just
have
seeing
to.
their name on the book,
Yeah,
then something's gotta be done.
Exactly.
Because it's not fair to you or the rest of the team or the salon.
exactly.
Couldn't agree more with all of that.
100%. Yeah, because she tapped on that, the entire salon, right? So they're coming in, affecting the front
Other
desk,
clients, everyone.
other clients, exactly. So they're putting all this poison that is very toxic, not only to yourself, but the entire salon. They're just spreading it like fairy dust, like boom, 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 boom. And then as owners, we're trying, what the hell just happened? Everybody was just cool 10 minutes ago. All of a sudden, you know, Myra is climbing on the ceilings, and the other one you can't find, and the dryer's on fire, and like all this stuff. Like, it happens like that, right?
Fire client.
Yeah. So it's like, all right. So sometimes it's like taking that power back from like as hairdressers. You know, it's not necessarily always the client's right, you know? Sometimes they are right, sometimes they're not. So it's about realizing where that energy is living, and is it perfect for where you're living at this moment behind the chair. Boundaries.
People only do what you allow.
People only, you permit, what you permit, you promote. So I think that's huge. So if you have a salon, and even if you have Purology or different brands, look into level, because you'll be able to kind of scoop this class up, which is awesome. Here's a few tips for just having a good, successful career. So this is really something, when I started looking at like what I wanted to talk about today, obviously we have to talk about social media and being a part of like Salon Centric team, and It Takes a Pro, but I want to really kind of like, all right, so that's kind of cool to kind of really go into something a little bit different and looking at what it took me, and I want to just share. Now this is not, this is part of the formula that I have. This is just a little piece, a little bit of a taste of the form. There's many other aspects, so I wanted to kind of condense it down to just share with you guys. All right, this is very simple. So develop your own personal brand. This is your own style. You want to wear hats? That's awesome. If you want to wear IGK shirts everywhere you go, awesome. That's a specific brand that you're connecting with. If you love them and you connect with them, I would say reach out to them every day, 2-3 times a day. You're rocking similar vibe that they're rocking because you're in line with their brand. So you find a brand that you're in line with, and then you create your own brand off that brand. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. That was a huge one for me. So for me, early on in my career, my brand that I associated with was Tony & Guy, Bedhead. I was major with them. I loved them. I needed them at that point. But I grew into a certain stylist where I needed to evolve. So I took a break, and then I kind of reinvented a little bit, and then went into L'Oreal, which is more classy and edgy. Classy, edgy is always very there, very timeless. Classy, edgy, they're always pushing it, but they're always kind of evolving as well. So I thought that was really important. All right, so it's super important to kind of find your brand, that you, whatever brand it is, you just kind of imitate what they're doing. Because if they got all the money and the capital behind Nike, and you see them posting an ad with them on a track, go do a photo shoot somewhere on the track. It's free. You know what I mean? Take your iPhone, get a model, take your sister, your daughters, whoever, mannequins, whatever, and be creative. I think that's something that is really fun about social media. Evolve who you are as an artist through education, right? So when you evolve, you have to educate yourself. There's no way I could have done anything that I've done in this career without education. There's no way. And when I first was coming up, I went to a lot of Salon Centric stores, or back then they were called something else, right? There was 2 or 3 different names, and then they all kind of finally became Salon Centric. But I went to every free class I could, because number 1, it was free. Number 2, I was broke as a joke. And number 3, I needed to learn. And my mind I just loved learning. I didn't care what line it was from. Yeah, it pushed me to, and I needed that. So that was super, super important. So always evolving yourself. Bring out the best you for your clients and your salon family. That's just on a daily. You know, we're humans. We have our struggles, and it goes left and right, sideways, like in 2.5 seconds. But everybody has that. Everybody has struggles, and we're there as stylists, but we have to kind of push hard, push through that, kind of go beyond that, right? Figure out what you want to be great at, whether it's cutting or color or upstyling, whatever it is. If you want to be great at it, focus on it, like be obsessed with it, 100% obsessed. Because that's the only way you're going to be great. I think if you want to get to the top of one mountain, you can't be jumping around. You're never going to reach to the top. Once you're at the top, you can kind of view other mountains and see where you'd like to live at, or what you think you might be want to do next. Then go back down to the other mountain and scale it up again. You know, for me, that was a driver, because I wasn't the strongest at color because I was super confused starting, but I was good at cutting. So my lane was cutting. I went with Tony Guy, they were the best at the time that I felt, that mirrored what I wanted to represent. And at that point, I just kept on pushing hard. And I learned and trained and trained and trained, and I got to a level where I understood it. And then I started kind of going to the color and kind of scaling that up. So that's super, super, super important. So it doesn't matter what you guys want to do, just kind of focus on it, but be obsessed on it. And today, social media is a big one, right? And there's a lot of free stuff on there on YouTube University. And the crazy thing is, I'm late to the game. You know, like I'm living, I feel like 1% of what content I need to produce or push out. And when I say 1%, meaning I'm not really putting out as much as I want to put out because I don't necessarily have the content. And the content is coming, not for me away from work or doing all that separately. That's one thing. But like we have the girls here, we have Jaden, we have my wife, we have Beth. They're all recording a piece of this. So we are creating content that I can put in these different platforms, right? So we have YouTube, the big three, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. That's the big three. So for me, my favorite is Instagram because it goes well with what we do as stylists. Instagram really hit home because it's awesome for showing your work and being able to get your work out there. And using the hashtags, using videos, and the way, that's for me, my favorite platform. Now, you can't just live on one. It's important to kind of bounce around because if I was famous on Vine, how many people have heard of Vine? Yeah, a few of you guys, right? Is it around anymore?
No.
It's gone. So imagine if you were popping on Vine and then didn't go to Instagram and Vine is gone and you have to start all over. So I think it's super, super important that you start delivering different content to each platform. Each platform, it has to be organic to that platform, but you gotta learn it. And it's not easy, it takes a lot of time. So behind the chair, 8 hours, go home, have fun, dinner, family, whatever. Nighttime, you train on YouTube. You Google, how do I do Instagram stories? YouTube, boom, you see all this content, and it's legit, and it's free. It takes your time to do it. You know, so for me, the way I do it, stories is just fun, like whatever, like me eating today at Waffle House and showing the waffle when it came in and showing, oh my God, I didn't know I have music. They were like blazing, music in there. I'm like, it's crazy. So I think that was just fun stuff that you want your personality to kind of live. But the page itself, when you're looking at the line, I view that as a magazine. So if you look at that as a magazine, whatever, you're the editor, right, of that magazine. However you want to make it live as your magazine. You know what I mean? So be smart as far as what kind of content you're putting on that line and make it make sense. Now the stories is just more personal and just fun, but it can also go into videos and stuff like that. So you'll start seeing even Salon Centric, how they do their little stories and stuff like that. Like of me today coming in, you can do that. It takes time and practice, or you just have fun editing it. I mean, it's very simple. It's all done on iPhones. That's what we do all the time. So the great thing is Instagram with the stories, you can also go on Facebook and add your stories from Instagram to Facebook. And that's super easy, and it starts kind of getting rides on that side, and you post on Facebook. And for me, I have a Facebook Pro account. So you'll see a lot of my hashtags that I use. Let me just go real quick. It takes a pro, Salon Centric Ambassador, L'Oreal Pro, Educe Salon, I got Educed. That's the ones I always 100% use all the time. Now you guys can create whatever you guys want to create, your own, obviously whatever your salon name is, whatever you want to attract, because people, when they start hashtagging, they're searching. So this is essentially searches. So a pro tip that I would share is if you hashtag whatever it is, hashtag Wigs Orlando, and you're gonna notice on the top how many times that hashtag has been hit, whether if it's 500,000, a million, 2 million. Like if you go behind a chair, probably like 20 million now. So if you put that all the time, you're really not going to get seen with all of that content. So they're saying now, anything that's 500,000 or lower, that's where you want a hashtag. All right. But for me, this is just always these are my top hashtags that I always do, and then I just add on top of that whatever else. Yeah, so the Reduce Academy classes that we're going to be having, the hairdresser reset that I kind of touched on a little bit. We're going to introduce foundational cutting, foundation to balayage, advanced balayage, cut and color, look and learns, and then learn vivids, that type of stuff. That's going to be, and that's in the pipeline now. So I'm excited to kind of share with you guys that. And I also am developing, for tickets and information, we can go to edusalon.com academy. Or you can email academy@edusalon. And then we're going to give you a flyer, and it'll have all that information on there as well. All right? All right, hold on 1 second. Oh, see, I clicked on it. All right, so stay connected. So if you guys don't follow me, please follow me so I can follow you back. It's going to be Phillip Rosado on Instagram. Facebook is Phillip Rosado Pro. Because it's a business page, and when you get to a certain amount of followers, you can't really have that much content. They stop it, I think, at 5,000. So I have a personal one that's Phillip Rosado. That's all the family stuff, but I keep it very separate. So anything that's cutting videos and stuff like that will be on the Phillip Rosado Pro. YouTube, Phillip Rosado, again, that's organic to YouTube. So those videos are going to be different. So you'll see like today's videos on YouTube as well. And then Phillip@edusalon is my email. You guys can contact me there. And yeah, so now is question time. So any questions on anything that I've kind of covered, any burning questions that you guys might have about anything that I just covered today? I know that we have a little, now at this point we're just an open forum. We're going to talk, collaborate, network, take pictures. We're going to eat, drink some champagne or wine, and just go from there. So any questions on anything, guys? Yes?
I love the fact that you're doing a resetting as a hairdresser, because I had to take time off to take care of my sister, and I felt like I got behind and want to reset. So is that's open to everybody?
Correct. Anybody. And the crazy thing is, I did it just for the hairdressers, and we're getting people that are not even hairdressers, like makeup artists and wardrobe stylists, and like anybody, because there's really anything that's in the service industry, we all need to understand how can we recognize the positive, negative impact from people. You know, how there's certain things that you can look for immediately, within seconds. You know, as stylists, after you've been doing it for a while, you know if you're going to kind of jive with this person. So if I don't, I always refer out. Say, hey, this, you know, Chelsea's great, Beth is great, Jen is going to be awesome with you. Boom, just kind of refer out.
So how do you redevelop your, I mean, I know education, but
how do you reestablish your clientele?
you want to do a whole, you want to reestablish who you are, and you don't want to be who you were in the past. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You want to invent a new, you are a different person, so you want to invent a more updated. How do you go about starting all that? Because until there's not been a lot of whole education out there available to just anybody.
Local.
Yeah.
Here.
As far as, you know, you had to go with a certain brand or whatever, and so it made it kind of difficult to.
It kind of goes to that first quote. You be so good they can't ignore you, right?
Right.
That's the quote that you have to kind of burn into your head, and you just be obsessed with it. Because whatever it is, I can't really give you the formula. For me, my formula was education, and I stuck to one lane. My lane was cutting. I did not go this way, and I learned, oh, I want to do a little bit of this. And like I feel today, everybody's like squirrels. They want, and then everybody, within 2 years, they are experts. You know what I'm saying? For me, I believe if you haven't done it 10 years or 10,000 hours, I don't want to hear an E after your name or in your profile setup. You know what I'm saying? So that's not, I think if you want to reinvent yourself, you can do it in a lot of different ways, but you just got to be so good that they can't ignore you, whatever it is. If it's color, if it's extension, if it's, whatever, you got to find what your passion is and then just go after it. And you can do it. You just have to believe that you can do it. And if you have the skill set, and there's so much out there, it's just crazy. Just go on YouTube and start searching whatever. You know, I like squirrels, they go up, I like the color of squirrels, how do I color? You know, whatever it is, it's crazy, it's out there. You know what I mean? Anybody else has any questions about business or, yes, building?
Not so much about business, but how, like, in what ways do you take care of your body after work?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one, like my feet.
Your feet, your
My back.
arms, like, back, your back.
That's very
Ooh,
important.
that's a good one. You know, I've been wearing a lot of sneakers to help counteract that. Obviously, the pads and stuff at work, try to sit down when I can, and just be conscious and listen to your body. When you need a break, you need a break, you need to kind of chill, whatever it is, then everybody has a different scenario, whether it's a back issue or feet. Like my feet are like super flat, I think at this point, for standing so long, that I am very conscious of them. So like today I could have wore some super nice Prada shoes, but I was like, you know, I want to be cozy, I'm going to be up there, I don't want, you know. So it's all about listening to your body and understanding it. You know, yoga, exercise obviously is always a great thing. You know, stretching, yes.
Compression stocking is the #1 key.
Compression
Yes.
stocking. I've heard of that. As far as the,
I mean, not for you.
No, for some,
You may need to invent some men.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, don't forget about me.
Compression socks. So.
Yeah, stocking. I mean, it just relieves a lot of pressure from your legs because, I mean, I've been doing hair with 25, 26 years, and it just, you know, when I was in my teens and 20s, 30s, your body goes down. So I said, hey, I mean, compression stocking, everybody else, I know the older people wear it and they really work. And then Destiny, she'd be like, girl, my legs are killing me. I said, mine's not, because I have my compression stocking on. And I do what, 16-hour shift?
Yeah.
And still go walk the waterfront 4 miles.
Wow.
My mom always tells me.
Yeah, they really work. They really
Are
work.
those the, like, they look like an ankle brace, or are they are real socks?
No, I have the one. I have the thigh high ones. Yeah, you can either do the knee ones or I have the thigh high ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Where do you get them from?
I went to have like varicose veins, like a procedure done, and I got them from there. It was like $30, $40.
You can order them on.
Yeah, I'm sure the pharmacy sells them.
Sanford, they sell them.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. So we got a lesson in that. That's good.
It works.
It does work. It does work. We wear them.
Oh, y'all went. Oh, how
Compression socks. Yes. Yes. What's your name and how long have you been doing hair?
Valeria,
Okay.
or Valerie.
Valerie.
And I've been doing hair for about 6 years, I
Okay.
think.
Awesome.
So I'd like to congratulate you because I recently moved to Florida and I started looking at salons, and I think I initially followed you on Instagram because I like the environment of your salon, so that kind of stood out for me, and I was
Thank you.
like, wow, you know, there's nice people in Florida.
Where are you from?
Puerto Rico.
Okay. Awesome.
So,
Well, welcome.
excuse me?
Welcome.
Thank you. So, I have 2 questions in one,
Okay.
and it's, as a hairdresser before you were a salon owner, what was your biggest challenge, and how did you overcome it or tackle it? And then now as a salon owner, what have you found to be your biggest challenge, and how did
Ooh,
you?
wow, that's a good question. So, okay, just to rephrase the question, what was my biggest challenge as a stylist?
Mhm.
And then what's the biggest as a salon
Now
owner?
as a salon owner. Yes.
Okay, so as a stylist coming up, my biggest challenge was really getting your clientele into the salon, like in front of my chair. So for me, was and back then, we didn't have social media, we didn't have anything like that we can kind of expose our work out there. Like we had nothing, so it was strictly word of mouth. So the challenge was always understanding how to get my style with the clients that were coming in to the salon, because they weren't crossing, you know, they were kind of, that wasn't the clientele that I knew I wanted to build. So I had to adjust my thinking, and once I discovered the type of hair I wanted to work on or with, then I stayed in there. So if they were not within that, I would refer out. So that helped me early on in my career. I think as an owner, one of the challenges, let me see. I think the challenges is always, I think like anybody else, is just customer service as 100%. Like Alicia and I can walk in and we see 100 things wrong, and then everybody else is just fine. You know, so I think for us, the customer comes first, or the experience is always like, how do we kind of keep that standard all the time, not just on a Saturday because everybody's here and everybody looks good and everything's popping. I want it all the time. So I think that is one of our biggest challenges, is to kind of always have that so consistent, like always, 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 you know? Because our salon is definitely not a perfect salon. I'm not here to say I'm the best in the world or we have the best. No, by all means, we have, it's like crazy and this and that, but I think that's the industry, right? That's why we chose it. It's not banking, it's not accounting, we're not lawyers. It's a little bit, I think we need a little bit of that chaoticness, but as long as it's organized, it's okay for it to kind of be a little bit out there.
And
That's a good one.
every day is really different.
Yes,
Yes.
everybody's so
You never know-
different.
You never know what day is good and another day is gonna be yucky.
Exactly. Exactly. That was a good question. Thank you for that. That was awesome. Yes.
Now, pretty much like with the salon thing with everybody, you know, you have to build the team as well, so that's kind of like my,
Yes.
my question. So, you know,
So
how do you?
I'm sorry, you have a salon?
No, she has a salon.
Okay, so
But
you're-
she doesn't want to ask you.
Okay. Where's your salon? What's the name of the salon?
First Impression Salon in Oviedo.
In Oviedo?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So wait, you have two?
varies.
So one in Tavares and then one in Oviedo? Wow, that's like a ways, okay.
They're both a couple. They have barbershops and salons, so there's.
And that's your husband?
Yes.
Awesome. What's your name?
Noel.
Well, nice to meet you. What's your name? Tamara. And what's your name?
Antonia.
Antonia. All right, thank you guys. Oh, so what was the question again?
So Oviedo is a fairly new location.
Okay.
It's pretty much like us, you know, like a little, you know, family. We're very homey. We're very kind of very, you know, just trying to build, you know, like a team. So sometimes, you know, we have people that come in and they leave. They come in, they leave. We have like
As
a
far as
very
stylist?
a stylist, because they feel like they walk in the door, they have to sit there and wait for people to come in, because, you know, we're fairly new, so we don't have, you know, all that like stuff going on. I mean, we're
Right.
building on it and it's going great, but just more as in like how to choose the right people, so that way everybody gets along, kind of build a team with.
desperate and just hire anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, right.
That's what
that-
we want. We want to build like an etiquette to where we have like, you know, standard for our salon.
Mhm.
But, you know, sometimes we need somebody, so we're like, you know, we don't, like you said, Jess, yeah, pretty much.
So are
Yeah.
you in the same salon? Oh, nice. Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, make it-
Oh,
Have your
nice.
day.
Nice, thank you guys. Yes. So let me focus on the question. So how to create a strong team, or how to create a bigger team, or attract stylists to your team?
No, just build like a strong team that we can
Core?
keep going for a long time, pretty much.
Well, okay, that's a great question. For me and for us, as a brand, we always hire nice. 100%. If you're not nice, I can't teach you to be nice. I can teach you how to cut hair, and I can teach you how to color. If you are not nice, we cannot have a working relationship. That's like our number one thing, right, Beth?
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. That number two is hire right, fire wrong. You always take your time in the interview, in the process. You don't make it easy. Like it's sometimes, even for us now, I know that we're big and stuff like that, but it took us a long time to get there. For me, I always feel like I'm a 25-year overnight success. I always feel like that. Because people always look at what we're at now, but they have not even seen my 25 years I put into this game. They have not seen that journey, that road, how hard it was in the beginning. So for me, I look at it, even if I was, for me, one chair salon, me and one more, I would always look at hiring 100% right, and if they're not nice, then we can't have that conversation. And we kind of have, I don't want to say roadblocks or speed bumps, but it's a little bit hard to kind of get into our salon, so we don't make it easy neither.
You use that like assistant programs and things like that as well.
We do have that, yes. But that didn't happen at first, though. It takes 100% patience and 100% more patience to kind of build it and kind of, but if you have a strong vision and you hire people that have your same vision, that's another one too, that we are really in line, you know. So we're in line with our branding, we're in line with the brands that we carry in the salon, and Malloy is here, our sales guy. You can ask him. We're very mysterious.
Hey,
Hey,
I'm
Malloy.
staying out of everybody's way. I'm listening.
You can ask him. We're really specific on like certain brands, and it's all done on purpose. Everything we do is on purpose, and Alicia's great at like keeping that like very diligent and having spreading it all out. And then it's taking like what you guys are doing now. Is coming to the education, coming to the classes as a team. You're building something that you will always remember as a team. You know what I mean? After this, go to Starbucks or wherever, take a powwow break. Say, what was your takeaway today? You know, and then you go back and forth and say, oh, I really like those kicks that he had on, and we could, you know, whatever was your takeaway, but go from there.
And the bad apples weed themselves out.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah, awesome. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, perfect, thank you.
That was good? So hire right, fire wrong, be patient, don't be open to just everybody, right? And just being true to, you know, hiring nice. Yes?
On that question that she asked, a couple of things we was having problems with, and a couple of things that we kind of changed a little bit is that when the stylists come to work at our location now, we actually interview the stylist and the husband. So if they married or they stand with someone, we interview both of them. The reason why is I need the husband to know that this is not going to be an overnight success. So if you need money right now, Expression is probably most likely it's not going to be the place for you. Because there's a lot of stylists come in, and a lot of stylists come in and they feel that, especially new stylists, is that they're looking for the salon that
The millennium stylist.
yeah. New stylists.
No, it's a
yeah,
difference.
but millennium stylists. They're
Yes.
looking for salons that oh, how much traffic you got in there, but you have to let them know that this is your career. You can't rely on the salon to build your career. So if we got a stylist in there that's not willing to hustle, to hit the pavement, to pass out flyers, to promote yourself, and you sitting in there, because we got a concept, we're in a beta salon, and we got a concept from a guy named Luca. He do not, the way that he give new, for instance, if you have a new client come in, he give the new clients to the ones that actually make the most money. He don't give it to the ones that sit down and do nothing. He said, because why should I reward someone who stay in the chair, won't go out and promote themselves and things of that sort. So it's kind of helped a little bit when we start interviewing the husbands, because the husbands come in, you can actually get a feel of, okay, how supportive is the husband to the wife.
Wow.
At the same time, what's the vision? Can they give us 5 months to brand that individual and get that individual clients? If that husband like, she here, we need money next week, it's not gonna happen. I mean, it's just, unless you bringing in a lot of clientele, but if you're not bringing in that, I mean, it's a no-go right then. Why bring you on and I know that you're gonna be going in a week? So I mean, it's just a lot of in the time it works on what are you dealing with at your salon, the problems that are occurring, and you just got to find different ways to fix it. And that's just been ways that we've been fixing it, because I think that a lot of individuals just trying to find a salon with high traffic. But say for instance, you got 5 people a day, but they don't want you. They come and ask for a certain person in that salon. So you still not gonna get those individuals because they asking for someone. So you're in control of your own destiny. So wherever you want your destiny, you have to be willing to get out there and promote yourself. Yeah, the salon gonna promote you also and gonna help with that, but what are you doing? And that's
And
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry,
the
what,
other part.
what was your name?
Eric.
Eric, and you have the salon with,
This is my wife,
Okay.
and this is our manager. That's
oh, awesome. So what's the name of your salon?
Expressions Hair Studio.
Fantastic, and that's here in Orlando?
Yeah, Sanford.
Sanford. Awesome. Thank you guys for coming. Yeah, that was amazing advice. I've never thought about that, and maybe we can add that. That's really interesting, but then everybody has their own take on how to interview. And that kind of works with his team, so that's perfect, right? Awesome, yes. Hi.
I'm probably gonna keep on brush right now because I heard, most of you like this salon owner, but I'm a sweet owner. Just left a year and a half ago, came from working at a regular salon for many years, I've been doing it for 22 years. And moving from up north to Orlando was a little hard transition, trying to build a clientele. So I work for a big corporate company that is all over DC and in Florida. Don't regret working for them, amazing 9 years. And they decided to relocate, and things started changing and changing and changing, and it started affecting me and my clientele. So I was kind of pushed away. Not that I wanted to leave, because I do miss being in the atmosphere of a salon. I was my ambassador, color ambassador for the salon I worked at. We all are L'Oreal professional salon. I am a L'Oreal Pro artist, that's why I know Phillip. So it was a very hard decision. That last location we moved to, I stood there 6 months. I was very dedicated to the brand, the company. I was the #1 stylist in the salon, and did a lot of classes with them, went to DC, did a lot of things, and I loved it. And I do miss it, and education to me has always been #1 since I was in beauty school. Like Phillip said, I used to take all the free classes when I was in beauty school. I did it all, coming from Jersey. And I was actually pushed out. And I know you have an amazing salon. You have for me to go work for him, but I already have a studio. So I felt I was pushed out because all of a sudden I wasn't being taken care of as their stylist. And my clients started seeing it, feeling it, and didn't want to go to the salon. They actually told me, I'm here because of you, but I wish I didn't have to come here. So I was reached out by other people that I know in the industry that were actually managing salon suites. And I looked at different places and I wasn't comfortable because they didn't offer that education. They didn't offer what I had and what I was used to. So I know it's a hit or miss because it affects a lot of salon owners that you have, and you don't want your people to leave. And let me tell you, for me personally, it was a very hard decision. But like I said, you all are salon owners, and I agree with everything everybody said here because not that I was perfect, but a lot of people look up to me in the salon, and I still get phone calls from them, and they got stuff. They didn't know where to go. Some of them went to teach at a school. They stopped doing hair, literally stopped doing hair because we went from here to here, like in a blink of an eye. And I was pushed to go into a salon suite, and it's been great. I've been there a year and a half, but I've also been in little struggles, and that's why I'm here today. Because I need to learn how to bring in more clientele. I have the Instagram, I have it all. But I also have to stop a little bit of taking more education because now I do everything on my own. You know what I mean? It is hard. It's hard. It's a lot of work. I gotta go in and clean and do this and do that and make my orders and you know and.
Excuse me. What caused the drop?
They moved the location.
Oh, location.
Yeah, moving location. Yeah, we were always inside the mall, and we were taken out of the mall. The location was not the best. So they lost half of the stylists and half of the clientele.
So you want to try to figure out how to create more clientele in a suite versus.
Yes,
like
I've been,
this, like
thank
this
God I've been
different?
blessed, but there's always room for more.
Okay.
I've been blessed, but there's always room for more. I did have a, kind of a little drop of people got different jobs, and actually they moved out of Florida. I have no control of that.
Right.
But some people are lasting a little longer to come in, you know, little things like that. But I keep up with, I reach out, I do things there, but there's always room to grow. The marketing is,
Yeah,
I do the Instagram and all that, but I feel that I need more.
right.
A little more to learn, and And you know, I know everybody here is salon owners, but really sweet owners, you know?
We're in
There's
suites.
suites,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
There's a bunch of us with salons and suites.
Oh, okay, so that's good.
What suites are you guys
I'm
in?
in Phoenix Salon Suites.
And I'm in a suite salon in Altamont.
And you're,
Okay.
what suite are you?
I'm a Studio U, the same as, Pornoir.
Okay.
And I'll say, that's why I left the salon I was at, was because there was such drama there that it was affecting my customers and it just was, so I would say as a salon owner, just make sure there's no drama, take care of it.
There's gonna be drama, everybody creates it.
We have a
It's like the same thing
some
about
people
that.
together, there's 4 of us, and we have a wonderful atmosphere, our clients love it. But the problem is rent's gonna keep going up. We all are working behind our chair, and we all are put rent together. Yeah, paying, you know, and so it's almost to the point when we looked at the salon suites, because we thought, okay, we might as well just go share a suite, you know what I mean? But I think it's coming to, because of rent in this area, the rent is going up, and I feel like unless you're a franchise, and you have somebody backing you up, you're getting pushed, our salon, we're getting pushed out. Even though we work hard, we have full clientele, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's weird, it's a weird, it's a transitional time, something's going on.
Well, I 100% agree with what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, and I know that we have a little bit of everything here. I think the one common denominator that we all have is we love doing hair, right? So it's all individual, and I think there's a salon for everybody, and there's a situation for everybody. For me, like when the suites were popping up, I didn't necessarily view them as, I just viewed them as another branch in like our field, which is great. You know, that I think it has its pros and cons.
It does.
Like when you're in there, it has its pros and it definitely has its cons. So I can't say that they're like it's so individual. It's crazy.
For everybody.
Yeah. So if you're in there and you're trying to build, then it's all social media driven or word of mouth, which is in any salon, like they were saying. If you're just in a salon and you're waiting for people to fall in your chair from the heavens, that's not going to happen. So it's all social. I would just say drive social media, hit it hard. Yeah, education and social media.
And promote yourself that you do educate yourself.
You have to like tag on the brands that you guys enjoy. I mean, and you kind of go after it. I mean, I just wouldn't be afraid of it. You know, just go and do it.
I mean, eventually my goal is to have a own salon.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I want to stay there for the rest of my life.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a step, it's a learning step for me, and a progression. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good little starting point.
Right, because now I learn.
Yeah.
Do a little bit of everything.
Exactly. It's hard. It's hard. It's not easy. Did you have a question?
I've been a salon owner for 20 years, and I just don't get what the difference is that you're in a suite salon. I feel like you're an owner of a salon. 'Cause
Right,
you're owner of a
just
suite.
by myself, correct.
I don't understand the conflict that you're like, I don't own my own salon, because you're trying to do, right?
Yeah. It's just alone.
I think
Yeah,
we
it's
all
a
have the
good
same
time.
struggles, but I feel like being a standalone salon, I'm struggling with all these sweet salons that have opened up, and I've lost girls that go to do that, because, you know, some people aren't meant to be in a team environment, and that's the people that we have lost.
Right.
And as far as hiring people, hire people that are like you, that have the same goals as you do.
100%. Yeah, I mean, you have to stay in your lane, stay in like your vision, and like for me, how we counteract. Not that we counteract that. There's we have so much talent around us. It's amazing. So my team, this is the future, right here. They're like these ghost ants that are crawling everywhere in the salon. That's these girls, because that is the future. So that's going to prevent, like, if a walkout were to happen tomorrow. Guess what? These girls have been trained and they can do some legit shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's my counter-terrorism to that issue. You know what I mean? So for me, I take the fear out of that and I start training my team. And as hard as it is, as deep as you got to go into your pockets, you train and train and train. And I'm training for building them. Once their confidence is built, then they're ready to go. but we do it very organically, and there's a system to it, and everybody's a little bit different, but that's kind of what we do in our salon. So to counteract the suites or the walkouts or this or that, I'm training them. And I took that really from Vidal Sassoon. He said that a long time ago. And I was like, you know what, one day I'm gonna get to the point where I need to start training more people, because I can see that, I understand what he's saying. And that's kind of what's happened.
Well, like you say, it takes you 20-some years.
To figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like
It's not
that.
easy. No, it's not gonna be
It's
easy.
not. We had 27 years ourselves, and I hear all that.
Yeah.
All that. We hear all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a
It's
craziness
very
to it.
up and down. The salon like us now, it's out. Yeah. It's no longer that. People walk out and rent the street and rent all that stuff. And it's very hard to hire someone, like the young man back there said. They come in and they want money right away. It's not happening.
Yeah, it
It
doesn't
doesn't
happen.
happen.
But a lot of that, you guys as owners, whatever you guys live in, like I said, we're like in the Army, we're like in the war of duty. Whatever it is, it's your location. I always think to myself, like, am I living my dream? And does this have anything to do with it? You know what I'm saying? I think about that all the time. And I go into the salon, I'm like, am I happy still? You know, if I feel 100%, I'm gonna give 100%.
Yeah.
You know, and regardless, we're all just hairdressers. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love this conversation, because we're just peeling it all open. Yes.
I mean, it's one thing that you had talked about too, that I think that a lot of stylists forgetting. If I use an example, for instance, you can go into a restaurant. If you go into a restaurant, that restaurant may have the best food in the world. But if the waitress and the experience is horrible, don't matter how good that food is, you're not gonna come back. So a lot of times, a lot of stylists just concentrating on that product and they're not giving their client an experience. Experiences is what clients talk about. You know, you hear people from restaurants that say, oh, it's good food, but the waitress, the ambiance, that's what sells. So a lot of times, you know, I feel stylists get so stressed out, they forget that experience. That like you have clients coming in and you forgetting to give them the experience. And you know, one thing that we start doing at our salon is we start bringing in, like we have something that we do called Salon Talk with Barbershop Conversation. So on the days that we close, our
So is this for your team?
this for everyone. We incorporate our clients with it.
Okay, so
when
is this like a happy hour?
Yeah, it's like a salon talk. We talk about relationships and things of that sort. We even do something like Fathers on the Rise, Daddy and Me. I was a single father and I raised my daughter, so as I'm raising my daughter, she's 23 now, I was doing her hair and it was a bonding time. So we get the fathers to bring the daughters there. And then we show the stylists to show the fathers how to do basic ponytails and get the experience out of it. So when you start branching it off in the community and stuff like that, it make people talk about it like, I want to be attached to this, you know. So we use the term never a location, always a destination, because we feel this is the place that a person want to be. So sometimes you have to use your creativity and say, you know what, if I go somewhere, what do I want to see? What do I want to feel? And a lot of times we too much focusing on that product, but understanding that product is what it is. You do good hair, but it's client retention. You don't want a client to come in and say, oh, I like my hair, but guess what? The experience sucks, so I'm not coming back. So a lot of times, you know.
I think that this whole conversation just came full circle, and it goes right back to what you started with. It's so good they can't ignore you.
100%. I love it. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Yes.
And to kind of piggyback on like employees and your stylists, when you build a genuine connection with your employees and they feel the energy, they feel the love, and you really care about them, it's a sense of loyalty that they build.
Yeah.
They're not going to go anywhere.
Not necessarily.
100%.
Not necessarily for everyone, but a lot of the
To me, no one is loyal. If the money's not good, if you can find something greater, I'm gonna go there. That's just common sense. You know, it just feels like, I mean.
I disagree. I kind of agree that some people, that's what they complain about, money. But a lot of people complain about money, but it don't be about the money. It be about how they get treated.
And fulfillment.
Yeah, it's
a lot
fulfillment.
of people are seeking fulfillment.
Yeah, a lot of people
in
are.
general.
But everybody's so different with that. Some people are motivated by money. Some people
people
are
just
motivated
depends on
by
who you're dealing with.
I am, because I ain't, if it don't make sense, that ain't going.
Now making money.
Yeah, all the quotes. All right, guys, so I don't want to cut it short, but I know that we're on a time crunch, so we have about another 25 minutes left here. I know that the team has awesome food spread, so I want to continue this conversation, but I want to open it up to the entire room so we can kind of get refreshments, there's drinks and stuff like that. We can make sure we get pictures with us here all together or whatever, or individually, and let's just continue this conversation with everybody.